So the Los Angeles Lakers are off to still a really good start this season. They're top 2, top 3 out west. They're right there in the swing of things alongside the Utah Jazz and the Los Angeles Clippers. It's early in the season. They've looked pretty darn good. They're winning the games for the most part that they're supposed to win. They've lost a couple games that I'm sure they wish they could have back. More times than not, if you ask the Lakers coming off of a short offseason, winning the championship in the bubble with everything that went on there, if you'd ask them if they would be, through 20, 21 games, 16-5, 16-6, would you take that? I'm sure they'd say yes. That's a great start for that team. I watch pretty much every dribble of the Lakers. And let me be clear. I don't think the Lakers can't win a championship. And I believe they still got a really good chance at winning the championship. To me, the Clippers are a tad bit better than them. Like, the Clippers could lose to the Nuggets in the playoffs. They could lose to a couple other teams, I believe, in the playoffs in a 7-game series. I don't believe they would lose to the Lakers in a 7-game series. But here's the thing. Like last year, it might not mean that. Depending on how these matchups work, I believe there are other teams that could take the Clippers out in a 7-game series. I do believe that. And maybe that's how the Lakers end up back in the finals. I think the Clippers are a little better than the Lakers today. I think they match up better. I think that team was built to beat the Lakers. But the Lakers are still really good. When they lock in defensively, they can beat anybody in the league. Anybody. Something is different with this team, though. And if you watch most of the Lakers games, you can see it. So last year, now, before we get into this, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Kobe guy, but I'm a Lakers fan. And I want to be clear. Last year, while all the LeBron fans who are part-time Laker fans, they were screaming at me, LeBron's the MVP. LeBron's the MVP. I'm like, no, shut up. You don't watch enough basketball. I promise you don't watch more games than me. LeBron's not the MVP for this Lakers team. The guy that's doing it on both ends of the court is Anthony Davis. Now, LeBron was great, don't get me wrong. But last year, the way that team was constructed, it was more about Anthony Davis. See, I like being consistent. This is why I believe not only do you get highlights from me, but you tune in for commentary from your boy, because I believe y'all like consistency. This year, through 21 games, without a shadow of a doubt, LeBron James is the MVP of that Lakers team. Without a shadow of a doubt. I thought AD had a stronger case to be MVP last year. LeBron is still LeBron, the most popular athlete of this generation. I got it. His stats, look, they blink off a page. I mean, you're going to look at this dude. He was leading the league in assists last year. I got it. I get it. But for me, both ends of the court, AD was more impactful than LeBron. This year, I'm actually enjoying LeBron on the defensive end. He's much more engaged defensively. He's brought what he was doing in the bubble over to this season. And I'm watching him on offense. He's still getting better. That's crazy to think, right? That's unbelievable to think. Averaging 25 points a game, he's unbelievable. Now, the assists have toned back a little bit, but he's a lot more aggressive this year with the Lakers. And I'll get to why I believe that's so in a second. But let's look at Anthony Davis' stats. The points are down, 22 points. The rebounds are down, around 9 a game. The defensive impact is down a little bit as well. Why is that? If you watch the Lakers play, it's clear as day to me why. Anthony Davis misses Rajon Rondo. I see a lot of people out there, these quote-unquote experts saying, it's LeBron's fault. It's the LeBron effect. That's not what's going on right now. That's not what's going on right now. If you watch the games, it's clear as day, Anthony Davis is missing about 6 to 8 points a game that Rondo could get him. Those easy early lobs, right? I mean, Rondo's guaranteed to at least give AD a couple looks a game. Now, whether AD connects on him or not, they run that play, AD in the post, and he flips out of the post and goes up top for the lob. They ran that at least 2 or 3 games when Rondo was in LA last year. They did that. And, obviously Rondo and AD already had some chemistry playing together in New Orleans, where AD had some of his best, we played some of his best basketball of his career next to Rondo. We understand that. So, to me, it's more about Rondo not being there and the guy that they replaced him with more than it is anything else. If you look at the Lakers' offense right now, when the games start, they're not feeding AD as much as they did last year. And the games that they do try to go out of their way to get AD the ball, The spacing isn't the best, but these are a lot of things that Rondo did last year. Even when Rondo wasn't starting for the Lakers last year, the way the Lakers construct their rotations, it allowed, when LeBron went to the bench, LeBron comes out of the game before AD does, it allowed Rondo to come into the game and have a few minutes with AD. Into the first quarter, into the second, before Bron made his way back. And then AD took his break. What that allowed Rondo to do was literally just get Anthony Davis the basketball. Get him going. And he probably better than anybody knows the spots that AD flourishes the most in. Not only did you take Rajon Rondo off that team, now he's in Atlanta with the Hawks, you put in Dennis Shroder, who clearly is a much better scorer than Rondo is, but Schroeder's younger. He's in a contract year, which I think people are sleeping on. He's trying to get paid. Think about this if you're Dennis Schroeder. I'm sure Schroeder loves being in Los Angeles, playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis and the Lakers, competing for a championship. I'm sure he loves where it's taking him mentally in his game, I'm sure. But let's call a spade a spade. If he would have stayed in Oklahoma City, in a year's time, he knew he was going to get the bag. Now he's in LA where guys have already gotten paid. They obviously paid LeBron James a lot of money, Anthony Davis a lot of money. Those guys have already gotten extensions. Montrezl Harrell's making like $9 million a year, $10 million a year. Other guys got paid. Other guys are wanting to get paid. Alex Caruso, that one's coming up soon. So in LA, the likelihood of Dennis Schroeder getting paid, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. Rob Pelinka said he plans on paying Dennis Schroeder. If the Lakers don't win a championship, let's say they lose in the second round of the playoffs, I don't know if the Lakers are going to pay Schroeder, even though they sound committed to paying him right now. Anybody can say that right now. We'll see. Lakers win a championship, I'm sure he'll get his bag. So Schroeder's in a contract year. He's a score-first guard. In his mind, he's thinking, play breaks down, I'm about to go. We got 8 on the shot clock. ISO, let me get mine. Let me do it. And if it's not him, he's got one of the greatest of all time to the right of him or to the left of him. I'm sure the second thing he's thinking, let me get LeBron the damn ball. And LeBron's having and also to factor in, LeBron's shooting the three-pointer at an incredible clip, literally a historic clip for himself, right? The way LeBron's shooting the basketball right now is better than his Miami days, where he uncharacteristically shot really well from the field a couple years in Miami, and better than the Cleveland days when he came back. He is shooting incredible from the three-point line this year. He's even knocking down free throws this year. LeBron was 69% from the free throw line last year. He's better than that this year. He's up a few percentage points this year. That's just a lot for a guy like LeBron. So what LeBron is doing on offensive end, his confidence is at an all-time high. He's taking a couple more shots a game, mixing the fact that Schroeder's taking more shots than Rondo would. And also remember, Rondo might take a shot here and there when he's open in the corner for three, and the crowd gets to cheering at him and saying, shoot, shoot, shoot. Schroeder's actually taking shots within, like, the middle of the game, like in the real spots in the game, when he probably should give it to AD or somebody else. Montrezl Harrell, when that second unit is in, he's looking to get going. That Lakers team could have used a Rondo. Rondo would have established AD as the one even when Bron's on the court, and he for damn sure would have established it when LeBron's off the court between Montrez and AD. The AD is clearly trying to make sure everybody is acclimated, trying to get Wesley Matthews some shots, trying to get Montrez some looks down low. He's clearly trying to be a great teammate and buy in, and it's clearly impacted his game. He's not the new kid on the block anymore. He's a champion now. Last year, it was clear as day. Everybody in the Lakers room was like, yo, LeBron is great, but we got that big fella down low now. Let's make him happy. Now he's the guy trying to make other people happy. Lakers got 5 new guys in their rotation this year. And I think that's part of why AD is struggling. AD is not this. You remember, you know how we used to treat the new student in class? The new student in class always got the special treatment. But then the next year, he's not the new student anymore. She's not the new student anymore. We don't treat them special anymore after a year. You like everybody else. Now we're looking for the new student. So I think that's the biggest reason why AD is off to such this up and down start is because the guy that believed he was the best player in the world, Rajon Rondo, He's playing basketball in Atlanta and not Los Angeles. Catch full new episodes of FERRO's music-based platform every day only on YouTube at It's Mr.Taliaferro. You can also find clips, updates, giveaways, and more on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, also at It's Mr.Taliaferro. For all basketball fans, make sure you tune in to FERRO's daily highlights, reports, and commentary on YouTube at FERRO, and even more updates on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at FERRO as well.